right now, so it's gonna take a
Okay.
minute, and the people are gonna come in. So we're
Okay.
a few minutes. I should have grabbed my glasses. So it is
Go
recording.
ahead. Go get your glasses.
Yeah, it's too many steps to run down to get to the garage to get these.
Okay, gotcha.
I've sat on too many lives so far without my glasses, and I said, you know
Yeah.
what? But I can see. Let's see. So I'm just waiting for it. It takes a few minutes because it's kind of delayed.
Yeah. You know, before we got on, I saw you with a building.
Okay, they're on.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'm
All
gonna
right.
talk to you right after this. As soon as I
Okay.
turn the camera back off. Hey, Christine. Hey, Killing Fields, Miss Chat, Pamela, Misha, E Stamps. Hey, Arlene. Arlene's gonna be with us. Who else is gonna be here with us? Arlene, Miss Chat is on her way. Hey there, Elfrida. Let's
Wow.
see. Can you see the
I
comments?
can see the names coming up. Yep, I
Oh,
do. I
okay.
see everybody coming in.
Hey, Misha, North Carolina. All right, North Carolina.
Wow,
Lunchtime in Australia. We got Australia in the house.
that's amazing.
Look at that. Hey, Tiffany. Hey,
Wow.
just be real. Her name is Chosetta. She's gonna be there in person in Dallas.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, and Arlene's gonna be online. I got a couple of people that are gonna be online. I haven't seen them yet. Hey, Arlene,
Okay.
how are you? It's a little delayed, but that's all right. They're coming in. Thank you so
Yep.
much. I appreciate you. If I could, I would be able to. Well, this is not connected to Instagram. Meth Breakfast said, "Is this my new boyfriend?" Absolutely. This is my brother. Me
Amen.
and his
Amen.
wife are very close, and he is married, my sisters. This is not my boyfriend. This is my guest speaker for the conference. Bahamas are in the house. Hey, Tamarin. So we got Bahamas in the house.
Wow, from Bahamas. God bless you.
Melanin,
Yep.
Carissa. Hey, Ernest. I don't know if you remember Ernest when you were here. Ernest is
Ernest?
Tasha's. I don't know if you saw him, but Ernest is Tasha's brother.
I
Tasha
remember Ernest.
Mix.
Wow.
Ernest is her brother. Hey, Roland
Okay.
from
What's up,
Detroit.
Ernest?
We got Detroit, Michigan in the house.
Oh, wow.
We
Detroit in
got
the house.
Minneapolis. Hey, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Yep.
Just Burrell started to laugh. I
Wow.
ran her. We got Honolulu.
I saw that. Honolulu,
Honolulu in the house.
Texas. That's amazing.
Oh, Misha, she's a VIP holder for Texas.
Wow.
So for the VIPs, they're gonna be at the conference, and then after the conference, they're gonna be escorted via limousine to.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's why I
I
wish you
saw
and
that.
my
That's
sister
gonna be
were there.
amazing. That's gonna
We
be
could
amazing, sis.
have been in. We could have been in the limo all bougie. Hi, Emily. Hi, Tiffany. Exotic Food in Ontario, Canada is in the house.
Ontario, Canada. Wow.
Chico. Another Minneapolis, Baltimore is in the house.
Baltimore. Yep.
Closer
Baltimore,
to you.
Maryland. Yeah.
That's Tabitha, Latoya, Kiko. Let's see who else.
San Francisco, Kiki. Yep.
All right. Look, I was gonna say SF. Oh yeah, San Francisco. Hey,
Yeah.
Kiki. Much
New
love.
Jersey. Somebody from New Jersey up there. I'm in New
She's in
Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Hey, Chastity and Donna Taylor.
Chastity, yeah.
Hey, Donna. Let's see who else we got. See, now when I start talking, you guys start scrolling in and saying hello. Trickling in really slow. It's Meth Breakfast. Okay. I've been watching narc videos for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Okay. Chastity said, much love from New Jersey.
New Jersey. Yeah.
Buena
What's up,
Park.
Chastity? I'm in New Jersey too.
Julie's from Buena Park, California. Okay.
Wow. Buena Park, California.
You got a Jerseyite.
Mexico.
Daniel's from
Yeah.
Mexico. Okay, Mexico
Wow.
in the house. All right, Mexico.
Westchester County.
New York.
New York. Yeah.
That's Danielle.
Wow. Hey, what's up, Danielle? Yeah, I know Danielle. Danielle. Yeah, I know Danielle. Danielle, man, she stole me and my wife's heart singing. We were just blown away with her.
No, that's Marie. Danielle was.
That was Marie.
next, yeah, that's Marie, and Danielle was sitting next to me on the other side of the
Oh,
stage.
Danielle. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
Danielle.
she
Yeah.
flew in too.
Okay, Danielle. Hi, Danielle.
Let's
Yep.
see, newfound joy. Oh, she said, glad to see you, Dr. Carmen, and brother Brooklyn, New York. Let's see, Rahel. She said, thank you for being with us. Just be real.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Nova Scotia, Canada.
Amazing.
That's Rahel. Oh, I know who that is. Hey there. I haven't seen you in a while. And then let's see, from Winter Park, Florida. Okay.
That's amazing. Went to Park, Florida.
So Riri TV by Cherise Sapia Blackman. All right. I see you. Samara? Hold on. There was some banging going on there.
Sure.
Okay, I'll be right back. Let me see what the banging.
No problem. God bless you. Thank you so much for that comment. North Carolina, Riri. Okay. Hi, Riri.
Yes. Tamarin said, "Oh, Miss Tamarin." She said, "This is gonna be good." With Apostle, his perspectives are awesome and wholesome. Yes. Now I got him on live for y'all. Hey, from North Carolina. Hey, y'all. I'm doing good. Look at Rahel. Rahel is in Canada. What you talking about? Hey, girl. I know the conference is gonna be on fire. Danielle, you need to come.
It is. It is.
You need to come, or you need to make sure you register. Just because we appreciate you all being with us. Yes, that's right. We do. Let me make sure that this is streaming live so I can share it. Make sure it's streaming live. It should be streaming live. I don't know where it's streaming live, but it should be streaming live. Let's see. Okay, it is not streaming on here. Are you guys on Facebook too? Or is it just on you? Let's look. Let's see where this is at. Jennifer. Hey, Kelly. Kelly's going to be there. Kelly's going to be with us.
Hi, Kelly.
Tiffany said, much love, Dr. No Limit Soldier.
I saw that.
She said, hey, from Ohio. She said, I'm next to Canada. She's in Maine. Well, all right, Maine.
Wow.
When is the conference? The conference is July 31st. July 31st. So it's just on YouTube? It's not on Facebook? I wonder why it's not broadcasting Facebook.
I don't know.
Well, that's all right. I'll share it on there.
Liz is from Connecticut. She just said hi.
Connecticut. Okay.
Hi, Liz. Yep. Jersey City. That's where I'm at. I'm in Jersey City. What's up, Gloria? Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Mr. Marcus. Excited to meet you.
Great to meet you too.
She says, sis, I have to say that watching your videos have helped me so much. Thank you for your work. That you are welcome. Thank you so much for support.
That's great.
Well, y'all ready? You guys ready? So we're going to interview Mr. Marcus Monroe. And Mr. Marcus Monroe, my brother from another mother. My wife is my sister from a different mister.
Yeah, you got it.
So he is going to be one of my guest speakers. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to interview all of the speakers. Tomorrow, I wanted to interview Miss Bridget Griffin. And you met Bridget. You met Bridget. She was.
I met Bridget.
And she is a domestic violence legal advocate in the court. So she gets to see this stuff all the time. So I'm gonna talk to her to see if she'll let me interview her. But tonight I wanted to speak to Mr. Marcus because he is my speaker during the lunch hour. And I'm gonna give you a little history of how I met him. Those of you that do come on Clubhouse, I actually met him on Clubhouse when he was, on Mondays at 7:45, we come on with Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper. And he and another gentleman came in, and it was a lot of the women in there. So I think you two were the only men at that particular time.
Yeah, I remember that. We were the only two men in that room at that time. Yeah, that's correct.
And I think what really got me was number one, because we are so, Marcus, that we talk a lot about narcissist abuse. And so you know, a lot of the people that's there in Clubhouse, a lot of the people that are here on YouTube, you know, everything that we talk about we always talk about the abuse that, and the majority of the followers are females, even though we have males.
Right.
We, you know, we always speak to the kings because we know that women are narcissists as well. We have women narcissists.
Yeah.
Majority, a lot of the people that are on my platform are women, and a lot of these
Okay.
they're brokenhearted, you know, they're just coming out of these relationships, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know how to trust men. A lot of us, you know, have not been back in relationships. And I think what really caught my ear with you is when you were talking, you were very sensitive to broken hearts. And when I say broken
Mm.
hearts, because there were so many females, you know, you got all these lions on there, and our nails came out like, I know you heard it, like click. You know, and a lot of things
I
that you were
did.
saying, it was almost like you can almost feel like, dang, uh, tread lightly, my brother, because there are landmines that you're walking in, and unless you know how to
Yeah.
maneuver these landmines, you know, you're gonna get blown up. And so I know it must have been hard for you, you know, because like all these broken hearts in there, and here you are a man, not just because you're a man, but here's a man that is now speaking to women from a male's perspective, and you're coming in, and what I really like is that you were really sensitive to broken hearts. And I
Yeah.
think really caught me too is even answering questions. You were very sensitive, and you were very on point. You stayed on point. You didn't change what you had to say, but you were very sensitive when you could have been very defensive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what really caught me is when you begin to talk about this group of men that were being that are coming up,
Mm-hmm.
that called the CIA and the FBI, but you were talking
Oh
about
yeah.
men that some of us are aware of. And what kind of, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, he's talking about narcissists that, you know, we always talk about male and female relationships. We're talking about romantic
Mm-hmm.
relationships. We're talking about
Right.
parents, narcissists and abused kids, and how they love bomb, or how they groom, or how they get into the heart of people. But we never heard it from the perspective of men who are heterosexual. A lot of them are heterosexual men that are
Right.
grooming and love bombing men that are vulnerable themselves. And these men are
Right.
looking for mentorship. These men are looking for big brothers or someone to help.
100.
And these men are
Yeah.
taking advantage of, and they're pulling these men in and training them to think like a narcissist. There is a narcissist training these
Oh
men
yeah.
to think like they think, and training other
Oh
narcissists.
yeah.
So my question to
Oh
you
yeah.
is, what made you start talking about it?
That's a great question, Dr. Bryant. Um, it wasn't something I originally set out to do, like to make this a thing that I talk about. Um, Starting out, I just wanted to help women understand how men think and understand the hidden language of men, understand our body language and how we really interact with each other. Because what I started noticing was I saw more women being hurt and not wanting to move on. Uh, as to where when I looked at men, I saw men having the time of their lives, you know, putting another notch in their belt, so to speak. And so my goal was to try to create something that I could educate women on. And being young in a startup industry where I was helping a lot of startup companies in New York, I happened to get acquainted with these organizations. And so I just started sharing my knowledge, and it built a little following for me, and it started helping a lot of people. So I started going into depth about it. And so I created something called the Laws of Men-Tality. And
What is that?
that's so the Laws of Men-Tality, it's a book that I put together, and I came up with 100 laws. It took me years to put it together, but I put together 100 laws that you can hand this to a woman, and she can go over these laws, and she can see exactly how men think and what the true intentions behind certain body languages and statements are. And so I came up with 100 laws to help women not only understand what men really mean behind what they say, also understand their physical gestures, what that's really saying. So I came up with something called the laws of mentality, not just dealing with the physical, but dealing with the mental and the spiritual side of things for a man. And I
So
did this to hopefully help strengthen their relationships.
so then when you were talking, and I had the honor and the privilege to share a platform with you when you came down here, and you were
Hmm.
at the church. But when you were talking, when you were talking on the Clubhouse platform, and then when you were in person talking about what you were talking about, you and I had a conversation, and I don't
Hmm.
know. That was the first time that I introduced to you, like, this is what I teach on, and what you're talking about is narcissist training, because you said these men are training them how to teach them, to how to pursue women, and
Right.
I teach my followers. I teach them how narcissists pursue them, how they love bomb, what they're looking for, how they pull you,
Mm,
what they say. But we never saw it from a male's perspective, how
right.
they're doing this to men. And so when you and I had
Mm.
a conversation and I pulled you to the side, I was like, do you know that you're talking about narcissists, training
I
narcissists?
had no idea.
Yeah, and I said, you're
That
talking
was a
about
revelation
narcissists.
for me.
Because even
Yeah.
when you said it, you said verbatim a lot of the stuff that I teach them. The love bombing
Wow.
part. Even though you didn't use the terminology, you were talking about
Interesting.
how they're looking for women, what they're
Yes.
looking for, how they train, how they train them, how to go pull these women and what to do to pull them in. And I said, do you know
Yes.
talking about love bombing? And then you
I
started
had no
talking,
idea.
is it degradation, degrading them?
Hmm.
Talking
Hmm.
about degrading them. You were talking about the
Yeah.
devaluing. Then you were
Yeah.
talking how they just discard someone. And then if
Oh
they,
yeah.
to hoover them and pull them back in. So you said everything that I teach, but you said it from a male's perspective
Yeah.
when training men to do exactly what we're training women to look out for.
I know. And when you said that to me, it was a revelation for me because I it really aligned with what it is you're doing and what you're teaching and what I talk about. And so that night I went home and I really looked at it and I went, wow, she's right. These are narcissists that are training up narcissists. And it was scary to think of it on that level because I was like, they're breeding narcissists. Narcissists are breeding narcissists. And
And these are
so yeah,
high-ranking narcissists.
high
Some of
ranking
them are
narcissists.
high-ranking. This is what we call the greater narcissist. And what I teach,
Okay.
you usually start off, a young narcissist is usually more overt. They're more obvious. A lot of
Right.
them, when you start off a narcissist, when they're young and overt and very wide open, they have no control of their emotions. They're very, what is the word I'm looking for? Impulsive. A lot of the younger
Okay. Yeah.
ones you see in a lot of
Yeah.
domestic violence situation, physical abuse. And as they begin to grow, they become low to mid grade narcissists, and they begin to understand how they manipulate and how, and the feelings that they're having and the power that they're feeling by using fear or using these tactics or pulling people in or discovering they're no longer the ugly duckling, and they become more,
Yeah.
they sometimes they don't know what they are. They just know that they like the way it feels and how I can control people. And so when you move
Oh
from that,
yeah.
mid-range to that greater narcissist, just like the empath, they're having to learn, they're absorbing, and eventually
Yes, that's so
growing, they're
good.
learning how not to absorb, and that I can't save
That's really
everybody.
good.
And when you get to that,
Very
you
good.
know,
Yeah,
when you
that's
get to
really
that,
good.
when you get
That's
to
good.
So when you get to that peak as an empath, and you're considered to be it goes from low to mid to high. I don't want to say high grade. It sounds bad, but those very in tune empath. That's what we call those. That super empath is because they have learned not to absorb. They, and
Mm.
um, Apostle had a program. It was a paid program where it was an empath conference, and we were
Oh
discussing
wow.
she was discussing the spiritual aspect and I was discussing more of the clinical aspect. And if you
Okay.
listen to that, it talks about like the chemical differences in the brain when it comes to an empath, because an empath has
Wow.
most of the empaths that you meet have been traumatized somewhere. It makes them hyper,
Yes.
makes them very,
I
and I even talked about some of the things you and I were talking about, where
yeah.
there are some of them, when you're dealing with autism, it's called a sensory processing disorder. And for it
Mm,
may not be a disorder, but it's like a over processing of the sensories. So you're very in tune with your environment. You may be able to taste colors. You can, you hear music.
wow.
You may be able to see the music.
Wow.
Some people
You're blowing my mind right now. You're blowing
see,
my mind right now.
but now think
Because
about it. And I'm talking about the empaths. Now, this is the
yeah,
empath.
you're talking about the empaths.
And when I'm talking about the
This is
empath,
good.
I'm talking about the words in the atmosphere. They can almost hear the words in the app. That's why they're very
Yes.
become overwhelmed with too much. That's why they like
Yes.
quiet or nature. Now think about it. Now this is the empath, the narcissist on the NC, and they grow. They learn about themselves and they grow where they don't take in everything. A narcissist on
Mm,
the hand, it's not that they're growing, but they are learning how to survive and they're learning the power of manipulation. They're learning how to do things. So it's trial and error, and people teach them. People teach them how to manipulate, and what hurts me. And when
mm,
you understand that hurts me, because they don't have, like empaths, they don't have emotional empathy like an empath does. Because
right.
empath wants to help, they want to fix. A narcissist has cognitive empathy, where they understand how your emotions work, so they know how to manipulate your emotions. So
That's
you
so accurate. That's
so
so
when
accurate. Yeah.
so when you get to the greater narcissist, a greater narcissist is very, very strategic, very dangerous. They're very manipulative and very malignant, where a lot of them are also sociopaths and psychopaths. They're so
Yes.
they're so hidden in plain sight that most people don't know that they exist, or that they're there, or that they're dealing with a narcissist. And everything that they do is manipulating those emotions, while an empath is emotional, and that narcissist manipulates those emotions. And when you begin to talk about these men that are coming up in these groups, you were talking a lot about these malignant greater narcissists.
It's
These
amazing.
they're up in status, but they know exactly what they're doing, and they're
Oh
selling their
wow.
product with,
Wow.
I'm going to. But let me ask you this question. With that being said, we talk about how the women get caught up in that. How is it possible that these men are getting caught up in it and they don't know what's happening to them?
So for the way I learned about it, right, and how a lot of guys get caught up into it, it's really simple. You find them a lot if let's take for example in New York, you have the financial district, right? You have Wall Street. There's a lot of startups down in Wall Street, and then there's a lot of businesses that are patriotic, so they've been around almost forever, but they're always bringing in fresh perspectives or prospects, like sales guys, marketing guys, and you could just think of all the different fields and industries these companies are bringing guys in to keep the revenue flowing. So I've always been in software sales, and so one of the things a lot of the companies are doing are they have meetups, and so these meetups are posed as networking events, and you go to these networking events to try to network with other executives and like-minded people, and really these are just scouting grounds. These are scouting grounds. So what they end up doing is they can tell based on performance. They'll invite you to specific meetups and then take you out to from there take you out to another event and give you a slow introduction. They give you a slow introduction. And this is how I got it. I got introduced to it because I was invited to some of this stuff, being a high performance salesperson. And so what ended up happening is I started noticing that the way in was to try to, you know, coerce me into thinking like, hey, do you want to make six figures? Because it's always financial at first for a guy. You want to make six figures? You could be living a better life. You could be driving that car instead of, doing this. And you should have this many suits in your closet, and they even go detailed. I remember one guy telling me, hey, Marcus, you got to be the kind of guy that has his socks Even if I opened your sock drawer, your socks should be organized. Your shirts should all be organized, you know? And so there was all these events to go to, you know, where you're going to become a high value man or a high ranking man. And so that's the introduction. But once you go deeper into that, you go to enough of those, then they start talking about hypergamy. And that's when it all drops. That's when they, once they start going into this topic of hypergamy, that's when they're pushing you into, okay, we're going to start training you on how to deal with women. And what I found, you know, you said the greater narcissist is what you called it.
Mhm.
I got to say, I've been around hundreds of those guys, hundreds of them. I can't tell you about, I went to a retreat. Now, thinking back, knowing what I know now, I was at this retreat in Barcelona where they bought out the beach for 7 days. I was there all 7 days. It was almost like a nonstop party in Barcelona. There was, it was endless. But now thinking back, I was just around high-powered narcissists who were just celebrating and awarding each other for levels of narcissism. So you're graduating to levels of narcissism. And yeah, this is a real thing. And I remember being in Barcelona at this event and just looking at these high-powered men who were making, they were just throwing money away, sis. They were literally throwing the money away. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So one particular company I was at, I went to some events, and just to get me to get in the, just to get me to be part of their group, this is what they told me. They said, hey, listen, if you sign up with us and you come on board with us, we can change things for you. We can make sure that your salary increases. We'll do that. We'll make sure your salary increases. But to really get you in, Mark, I'll never forget this day. So to really get you in, Mark, you know, what do you average make on commission monthly? And I said, I make somewhere about $2,000, you know, a month on commission. Besides, and that's with my base, you know. And the guy went, okay, I'll surprise you. He said, just come to a few of these meetings, go out with us, hang out with us, and we'll take care of that end. So I did. That first week, I woke up, I think it was a Friday morning. I had $4,800 in my bank account that morning that I didn't work for. So I thought something was wrong. I called the company. I was like, there's $4,800 deposited in my account. And they was like, oh, no. Literally, they transferred me over to one of the high executives, and he got on the phone and said this, Mark, you're part of the boys now. That's going to come regular every month for a year without you working for it. Don't you worry about it.
Wow.
That's an actual true story. And the money just kept coming every month. And I was like, what do I do? And this is what he told me. Show off. Show off. Get you some nice clothes. Look better than the average guy. Because now when you go into an event or you walk into a room, these women are going to look at you and go, wow, look at him.
Right. Oh my
So
God.
they'll even fund you to produce the image. But the image and funding you is enticing you to go deeper.
Right.
And this is how they're capturing these guys.
So it's just a hook and bait. They just pulling them
It's
in.
a hook and bait. It's real. It's real. It's real.
Introduced
I
to
mean,
they're not accustomed to in the first place, and they fall in love with style. So they'll do whatever they can to
oh
keep
yeah.
this lifestyle.
Oh yeah. Let me give you another example. Let me give you another example of what I'm talking about. So I'm a high performance sales guy in this company. I'm not only getting 3,500 a week as my pay, I'm getting an additional 4,800 every month on top of this, right? That I'm not working for. Now I'm sitting at my desk and I have all my coworkers sitting beside me and other coworkers in front of me. Literally, one day I'm working, true story. One day I'm at my desk doing my job. A lady walks up to me and says, Mr. Monroe. I go, yes. She was like, you've been such a high performer in the company. You know, I've been sent to get you anything you need. And I laughed, right? I went, so your job is to get me whatever I need right now. And she said, yes. I said, okay. So get me a case of wine, get me a case of red wine, get me a sack of pistachio nuts, and then we'll talk. And I said that as a joke because I was like, yeah, get whatever I want. She walked away. About 3 hours later, a guy comes in with a cart, a wheelbarrow with a sack. And he says, you're Mr. Monroe? I said, yeah. He says, pistachios? Bam. And everybody in the company is now looking at me like, what is going on over there? And then another guy behind him with a full case of wine and dropped it off at my desk. So the supervisor comes over and says, you can't drink that. You can't drink wine while you're working. The supervisor overheard said, whoa. That's Marcus. He's a high performer. He can do what he wants. You drink it up. You work hard. You play hard.
So they were going to groom you. They were getting ready to start grooming you.
Yes. So they were like, that was the boys club. When we work hard, we play hard. So you're not average. This is the thing. You're not average. You're not average. You can do what the other guys can do.
But isn't that how narcissists think? They're grandiose. This is how they think. So we're going to make you feel like this.
You're special.
Well, let me ask you this question. And we don't want to give the people everything because this is who's going to be talking at the conference. This is one of my speakers. So if you like what you're hearing, you got to register. You got to hear what he got to say. Could you tell them, without actually telling them all the details of what you're going to talk about, can you tell them some of your topics that you're going to be discussing?
Absolutely. So one of the things, I'm going to be discussing a few things, but one of the things that I'm really going to drive in on is disrobing the illusion, because what you see is not what you get. But I'm going to show you how they build that up. And how these guys walk in this false image and they play the cards so well, you need a fine-tooth comb to comb through it to see it. But there's a way that you can break that down. I'm going to be covering that. I'm also going to be talking about the social network. When I tell you what I learned about their social network, it blew my mind. This thing stretches far, it goes high, it goes deep, and it goes wide. It's like you're not going to believe it when you hear it. But what I will say is, when you start using the social network, when they start using this network, the people that are in it and how high it goes it's insane. It's insane. And I think I was telling you one time, hanging with these guys. Money's no object. Money's no object to these guys. Literally, money's no object. I remember, I'll give you an example about the network. So I came into work one day. It was my birthday, right? I didn't tell anyone in the office it was my birthday, but the CTO of the company, he was with the guys. He was one of them. And he came over to me and he said, a little birdie told me today's your birthday. And I went, yeah. He was like, then what are you doing here working? I was like, listen, man, I'm not trying to, cheat the company. He was like, Marcus, he leans over the desk and he goes, Marcus, come on. You're one of the boys. Listen, pack it up. Let's go. I got a limo waiting downstairs. And he got the rest of the guys that were part of it. Yeah. It was about 8 of us, literally 8 of us. Right. So we go downstairs to the car. Everybody else is like, where you guys going? He's like, hey, you guys don't worry about where we're going. You guys do the work. So,
wow.
So again, this is to make you feel like, come on. So we get in the limo, we drive, and literally we drove to this location. I don't even want to say the location name on here, but we drove to this location and it was like a secret stairway. Right? We got to this, we went to one level, but there was a secret hallway with some secret stairs. And we went in there and man, I never been to nothing like this in my life. But when we got in there, all you saw was these women, and you can imagine. And I remember seeing ladies laying on the table with sushi laying on them. Okay. And some Russian guys coming up to us, and he told them some code, and they was like, "Oh, you one of the guys? Come on in here."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what amazes me is that, and I haven't known you for a long time, but
Yeah.
just the simple fact that this was offered to you and you
Yeah.
were able to pull yourself back out and choose not to be a part of this.
It scared me. It scared me at one point
To come out
because
of it.
not to come out. It scared me to go in because a lot of these guys I was friends with. I worked with them, been around them for years, and and so they liked me a lot because what I learned was that I'm great at producing money, and they figured that out. I
Mm.
remember that. I remember I tried to quit. I tried to quit the company, and I had a disagreement with a high executive, and I said, "I'm done. This is my last day." I didn't give a 2 week notice, so I'm walking out. By the time I got to the elevator, one of the other executives chased me and said, "Marcus, I have the owner of the company in Israel on the phone. He called from Israel that fast." And I got on the phone with him, and he goes, "Listen, Marcus, I just heard you had a problem with somebody." He said, "Please don't leave. I'm not about to lose my top sales guy to that knucklehead. Can you please promise me you won't leave? If you stay, I will give you a raise and I'll deal with that guy." He said, "Can you please go back in there and hear him out?" Listen to this. So when I got back in the office, I said, "I'll go back in. I'll go back in and talk to the guy." He said, "You don't have to talk. Just go back in his office." When I got back in the office, that guy was on the phone with the owner, and the owner said, "Put me on speaker." He put him on speaker. He said, "Now say to Marcus what I told you to say." The guy literally got on his knees in front of me. You heard me right. He got on his knees in front of me and said this: "I cannot do what you do. I cannot produce money out of thin air. Therefore, I am in no position to insult you."
Oh my gosh, are you this is horrible.
I immediately called my wife and told her, I said, "This is insane what just happened." And
Oh
so
my
I learned over time, that if you're a guy that can produce money, they'll see that. Because what they'll see is that you're able to talk to people, get people's attention, and get them to invest, buy, and commit. And if you have that ability and you can produce, see, I don't want to mention the company's name, but I produced this company in 3 months, $4 million. And that was just phase one of a 4-part phase deal. And when they saw that, the investors said, "Whoa, we just got 4 million from that company." They said, "We're going to give you an additional 20 million." That so much so that they flew me out to Barcelona. Listen, listen, listen. So much so, no, they flew me out to Israel the first time. I stayed in Israel the first time. They flew me out to Israel for a week. They put me up in a high suite overlooking the Jordan River, right?
God.
When I got to the office, I can't make this stuff up. When I got to the office, they took me in a room and opened the safe and pulled out a wad. That wad had to be about, if you can see my hand, it had to be like this thick, right? It was just money, but it was Israel, foreign money. And it was like, "Here's your spending budget. Go get
Wow.
anything you want," right? They
So this
literally
network is
spoiled me.
about money.
It's about money.
So this network, the way that they pull in so many people, like you just said, when they say these, what is it,
High value, man. High
so when they're
value.
talking, when they
HVM.
really, so when they're talking about high value men, they're talking about men that are able to pull in and generate more money for them.
Money. Right.
Network keeps it, so it just keeps on. It's
Right.
almost like just recycling in itself. With all,
Right. Right.
so high value men literally is a high value man
High
that's able
value, man.
to do this,
Right.
and they will
Right.
be protected at all costs.
You will be protected. No one's going to fire you. They can't touch you. You can do what you want. They're going to make sure the money's in your account, right? They're going to make sure you're untouchable. And I never forget, that's exactly what the vice president of his title was VP of Eastern Sales. He said that to me. He said, Marcus, you're untouchable. He said, I can't touch you. And at the time, I didn't know what he meant. Literally, I was like, what is he talking about? He said, you're literally untouchable. You can't be touched. And what he meant, I later learned, what he meant was, I'm so valuable to the company that I'm protected at all costs. And he knew it. It was basically like, don't touch that guy. He can produce money. And so I started meeting other guys who were just like me. You know, you think you produce money. I met other guys who were just like me, who were, I thought I was producing money. These were guys who were pulling in crazy numbers. I mean, crazy numbers. I remember I called this guy on the phone because we were having an annual thing where we put together a book, and all the supporters and donators would be listed in this book, but they had to pay a fee to get in the book annually. Sometimes they would put compliments of a friend, or they would put a full page ad, a quarter page ad, you know, but it cost them. So I called one guy, and listen to this. I called this guy to pay somewhere around 130 something thousand for the front and back cover, right, of the annual book. He tells me, I'm broke, Marcus. He said, I don't have any money this year. I'm sorry, I can't do it. And I had him on the phone, and I went, so you don't have any money this year? He went, no. I went, all right, I'll try to see you next year. And I hung up the phone. A gentleman who passed away, a few years ago. He was there, and this guy was like the star. He was, if you thought I was good, he was a star. Okay. He heard that conversation, and he said, Marcus, do you mind if I call that guy back? And I went, go ahead. He said he don't have any money. He grabbed the phone, called the guy back, and said these words. He said, hey, you just talked to my guy, Marcus? He said, yeah, I just talked to Marcus. He said, listen, Marcus just told me that you said you don't have any money. You're broke. I'm so sorry to hear that. But listen, you do know that we're depending on our heroes, because heroes make the world go round. He said, and you've always been a hero to us, so I just want to put the cape around your neck this year. And I understand that I never forgot that line. I just want to put the cape around your neck, right? He said, I just want to put the cape around your neck this year. He said, now listen, it's more important for these kids to steal third base on the football field, on the baseball field, than stealing the car in the street, right? You agree to that? The guy said, yeah, yeah. He said, listen, when you say you're broke, how broke are you? Are you $100,000 broke? Or are you $98,000 broke? What are you? He said, I could do a couple of thousand. He said, oh, so then we can put you down for 50. He said, yeah, I could do the 50,000. And hung up the phone. He closed that deal, hung up the phone, then looked at me and said, Marcus, when a guy tells you he's broke, you have to figure out what level of broke he's talking about.
He's asking for money. So it's all in the language.
It's all in the language.
Let me say this real quick, because I was reading some of the comments on here, and everyone is really fascinated by what you're saying. Somebody said, bless their little hearts, is he going to talk about anything but himself? Listen, ladies, this is what I'm going to say. First of all, before he came on here, I told him not to name names, not to say companies or anything like that. Number one, because this is a public forum and it's wide open to everybody on YouTube. So he's telling you his experience, because you have somebody that was in this and they were going through the ranks of
exactly
it,
right,
came out of it. And so he can only talk about himself. We're not going to talk about, just like when I come on, I do not have political conversations. I do not have conversations about people in general. I do not talk about other coaches. I do not do that because, number one, it's kind of tacky. But number two, I mean, why would I try to gain fame off of somebody else's, off of somebody else? And so before he came on here, I told him, number one, for safety reasons, and number two, because of the type of information that he's given you, he's not going to tell you the companies, the names, or anything else. He's focused on his experience because he was in this. The very thing that you guys are seeing, a lot of you guys have named names and you guys are seeing this on YouTube. You're seeing this on a public platform. This is an individual that was in this and pulled back out of it. A lot of them didn't pull back out of it. And so for a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
you,
true.
for a lot of you, I'm telling you, he can't say a lot on here, but when we go to the conference, that's why I want you guys to register for this conference, because at the conference, he will be free to talk about everything that he's talking about in detail for you to watch out for. Because if you guys
Yeah.
watched him on the public platform a few weeks ago when we were in church, if you guys go to the Helen Sadler, Your Destiny Helper, if you go to the webpage for the church, he actually talked about some of it there, but we had like 30 minutes to talk.
Yeah, we did 30 minutes. That's correct.
So
Yeah.
he compacted a lot of that information in a 30-minute increment, and it was in a church forum. But he's coming on a forum at a conference, in which is not a church forum. This is an Overcoming Narcissist Abuse forum. But he's going to tell you details, ladies, details about what these men are doing to pull you, what the game is. And remember what
Yeah.
I said before is this is a whole new language. It's almost like a whole new culture, a new language. And in order to understand, how do you understand what a person is doing unless you understand the language that they're speaking? So I don't know what you're doing or trying to convey to me unless I understand and break down and decode the language. I'm decoding language about narcissism, but he was in the center, in the hub of the stuff where they
Oh
were
yeah. Oh
men.
yeah.
He's coming out of this and telling you what to be aware of. And so I really want you guys to register for this conference. He is my second speaker. So I'm the first speaker. Well, I'm the host. So I almost didn't recall. I almost became a part of the audience. I had to remember that I had to, I got
Yeah. Yeah.
but he is the second speaker. So it's me, and then it's Bridget Griffin, and then he's speaking during the lunch hour while you guys are talking. So he's speaking for a whole hour, and he's going to talk to you in detail, ladies, to help you understand the games that these men are playing and how they're pulling you in. He's giving you an insight on why they're not coming out of it, and that money is a big factor to it.
Right. They don't want to come out of it. They
So
don't want to.
and then think about it. You were just
Yeah.
saying this is, but it's almost like this is the prerequisites, and then the next training part is how, if you're going to be this type of person, now I'm going to teach you how to handle women. So this is what
That's the next step. Yeah, that's
yeah,
the
so
next step.
you guys are learning how they're pulling them in money wise. So you guys are
Right.
getting a precursor of what's going to be at the conference, because now he's going to teach you. He's going to teach you about how they're pulling you, what they're doing, and what they're saying. And think about it. This is not coming from a woman. This is coming from a man. I can teach you a lot of things, but when you hear it out of the horse's mouth, and he's going to tell you the experience, he's going to tell you how men think, where you guys can ask, well, we have time, we can answer questions, if we have time to do it, because the conference is from 8 to 6. So we're constantly bam, bam, bam. So bring your notebooks, bring whatever. Helen Sadler, she would not be there in person. She's going to be online, Zoom. He's going to be online. The way that the conference is set up, some of you are there in person with me in Dallas, but a lot of you are not able to fly in, and a lot of the speakers are not able to fly in because it was kind of it wasn't how can I say it? It wasn't far enough out for them to prepare. Marcus, you said
Right.
that your son is graduating, and of course,
Yes, he's graduating. Thank you.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then Apostle Sadler, her and her daughter, she's traveling. So when I leave to go to the conference, she's just flying in that next week. So for a lot of the speakers, they're going to be on Zoom. But the way that the conference room is set up, the Zoom is going to be on a projector. So those people that are sitting there will see you guys on the projector. And those of you that are on Zoom will see them just like this. You guys will see them on Zoom while they're talking, and then you'll see me, but you'll see him. I'll probably take myself off, and you'll see him talking, and everyone will see him talking. So they will not be there in person. But my goal is, because I'm gonna do this on an annual basis, but I would love. Now I know this is a big, big, big request.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm starting this, because I didn't get a chance to start it a few years ago because I was working with another young lady and the COVID hit, pandemic hit.
Yeah.
I would love to be part of this conference every year.
I would love to be part of it. I think that I know that this is something that's going to change lives. And I want to be part of something that's going to change people's lives for the better. And
Yes.
at the end of the day, I want to put my head down on my pillow, knowing I've done something to make the world a better place.
And and like I was saying before, who better to tell it than the person that was in it? That's just like most of the coaches that are talking about this kind of stuff are coaches that were survivors of this type of abuse. And who's the
Hmm.
best? There's a difference between a person that has book knowledge and can tell you things based off of what they read, as opposed to
Hmm.
a person that has book knowledge and went through it and put the information together. So you can take, I always say, yes, I may be a clinician. At the same time, I'm bringing the information from a clinical perspective, and I'm putting together realistic situations. Me having clients, me dealing with clients that were victims, me dealing with clients that actually were narcissists, me being
Yeah.
a victim, having been a victim myself and a survivor myself, and putting all this information together to give this information. Who better to tell the story than the person that was in the story? And so
Yeah. That's
for Mr.
exactly right.
Marcus, who better to tell the story than a person that was in the story, and you guys are seeing it, but you got someone that came out of it and didn't stay. So that lets and the biggest thing for a lot of us, and I said this to you earlier, is that a lot of us have been through this type of abuse. And so you're very sensitive. And for a lot of you, you have been hurt by men. So for him to come, and majority of the people that are listening are women, he's already walking. He's walking through a grenade field with you guys. But I appreciate you guys for allowing me to bring him on, and I thank you so much, Marcus, for for
No,
support.
thank you. Thank you.
And
Because
thank you for
listen, I understand. I understand, like I get it. Like, hey, I saw someone say, you know, I don't understand. Companies do take care of their employees that produce lots of money. That's true. But how many companies try to take their employees to brothels in other countries and tell you sleep as many of these women as possible, knowing you're married? And if you're a person that you have a conscience, a lot of times, I can remember being at one place where the hiring director was only hiring women who had certain physical attributes, and it literally anyone that was part of the boys club say, I want one that looked like this. Well, I'm gonna hire that one because you said you wanted that. And, and so it was just like a pick and choose. And so if you're someone with a conscience and you want to do the right thing, you at some point you get tired of running around, going on planes, going to other countries, spending, partying. You can only party so much. You can only drink so much. And I'm a person that I never did drugs. The only thing I did at one time was drink. But I got to see guys that I respected with powder on their nose, and I know they have a wife at home and they're just going out of their mind. I've seen things, and I'm going to go into that in the conference, and that's really going to take you there.
Mhm.
But I've seen good people get corrupted and lose the identity of who they are. They don't even know who they are, and I didn't want to be that. And so I didn't go down that rabbit hole. I got to a far enough point that I knew to get out. So I'm grateful for that.
And just listening to you, it that just goes back to what I said before. Is like, a narcissist pulls you in, and as long as you're doing what they want you to do, as long as they have control, then you're the golden child. You're the golden boy,
Yeah, yeah.
golden man.
Someone said up there, Wolf of Wall Street, right? Some Soul Sister, right? Sis, can I tell you how many times I have told people that Wolf of Wall Street is real? Listen, and
Wow.
my friends would look at me like, come on, no, that's real. They would close those doors. If it's insane. What you really see go on behind the doors, it's just insane. Like if I told you, you're there's a secret bar in the office building for you. Oh, go ahead, go over there and drink it up. Like it's just insane. But this really
It's like they're
happened.
setting you, but they're setting you up that if you leave, they're going to smear your name and ruin your reputation.
Oh, they will. They will. They
Narcissist.
will they will literally blackball you. Literally. That's
Wow.
why that's why so many guys don't don't really want to come out. But I can tell you that a lot of guys realize at some point, like, man, I don't want to keep doing this. I'm burnt out. I'm tired, but you gotta keep performing.
Wow. Wow.
You gotta keep performing. I remember one guy telling me he had to be high just to jump on the planes at this point. He was so burnt out, and I felt for him. So it's a lot of good guys who caught up, but at the same time, there's a lot of guys who are just ravaging wolves.
Wow. Marcus, thank you so much. Because I don't want to keep you. I just keep on talking. Every time I'm just staring,
Yeah,
I'm staring at the
yeah,
screen while you're talking. I
yeah,
have to keep remembering I'm the host because I'm all into the
yeah,
conversation. I'm the
yeah.
student now. But you know what? I really appreciate your time, and I thank you
No,
so much
thank you.
for being on this platform. Listen, I need you guys to go just look. They put the information on here already for the tickets. If you want to hear him speak more, you guys have to come and listen to him speak. If you're online or if you're in person, you got to hear what he got to say, ladies. This is going to save your life. It's going to save your soul so you won't go crazy. And a lot of them are narcissists. So you see, you got these regular narcissists. Some of you guys, I think somebody said a long time ago, they were like, all narcissists are broken, stinking. They don't take baths. I'm like, not the ones that I've seen.
Right. Not
Not
the
the
ones
ones
I've
I've
seen.
seen.
They they
Look, the
they
ones that I've
stay
seen.
they stay in the sharpest of clothes. I could tell you, going to certain spots to tailor, they tailor made stuff. This is very expensive stuff. I remember one guy checking my shoes, like, hey man, take those shoes off. You can't wear those hanging with us. And went and bought like $800 shoes. Listen, they want the top of the line. Want the top of the line. And I didn't even get into and I'm saving that. I'm saving that for the conference. I didn't even get into my interaction with celebrities.
Wow. I believe it.
I didn't even get into that.
I believe it. I believe it. Just listen to
I
now
didn't get it.
I have a different
Yep.
perspective now when I'm watching television. Like,
Yep.
what about you? What about you? What about you?
Yep.
I believe it.
I didn't
It
mention.
makes sense.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
There's a popular show that's been on NBC for eons. A lot of famous comics come through that platform. I've been to that party, being part of that, and I could tell you a lot of insanity.
see, listen. So if you've got to listen. Don't wait to the last minute to register. You guys want to hear what he has to say. And listen, tomorrow I'm gonna contact my good friend Bridget, and I'm gonna bring her on the platform so that she can tell you guys a little bit about what she's gonna talk about. But you guys got to register. You got to hear what he has to say. Who best to tell it than a person that was involved in it and came out of it intact? And so he's intact and he hasn't lost his mind. He hasn't lost his character. And I met him in person. I met his wife in person. I dined with them. I laughed and joked with them. And when I say he's a very genuine individual,
Thank you.
there's a difference between a person and, you kind of like, oh, and I'm not super touchy feely either. I hug and I like to hug people to comfort, but him and his wife just hugged me. And I was kind of shocked, like, oh, I said, they're touching me. But I was like, wow, but they're genuine people. And it's a beautiful thing, Marcus, that you came out of it and you didn't lose your heart, your character, and that you have a passion to, especially speaking to these hurting women, you have a passion. And I really appreciate you. And I am so excited about this conference. I'm so excited
Thank
about
you.
to say, because once again, I have to get somebody to be the host. I'll be over there listening to you while you're on the screen, because we didn't get a chance to listen to you that long, but the nuggets dropped in those 30 minutes. It was powerful, and what you
Thank
said
you.
was powerful. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say. So ladies and gentlemen, please go out there. First of all, you make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. I come on live on Sundays. I'll be back on Sunday. Don't worry. Just because I'm doing a live doesn't mean I'm not going to be live on Sunday. I haven't thought of a topic because I was so into this topic. So, and tomorrow, you guys stay tuned. I'll let you guys know. I will post it. I will talk to Ms. Bridget Griffin and see if she will come on and do an interview with me. And then I'm also going to talk to Kathy Gibson, and I'm going to talk to my mother, Helen Sadler, your destiny helper, so that we can get all the speakers so you can hear, so you can see what you're going to get. What you are paying for in this conference is well worth it. You're not going to get this info. Tell them you're not going to get this kind of information.
You're not gonna. There's
No,
nowhere you're gonna go that you're gonna get this.
no, you're not gonna get. And
Just you're just not gonna get this.
when we travel, this is the same thing I'm going to be talking about every time I travel. Now, of course, we get other people that come in from time to time, but we're going to be, because we need to get this information out. As a matter of fact, remember in the very beginning when I started recording you guys, I talked about the fact we need to get this information to the social workers, the judicial system. We need to get this to Department of Social and Health Services. And I was telling them that I went to a training a few weeks ago. Me as a therapist, those people that are in the therapy, medical field, law, that we have to continue in education every year or two, depending on the state. So continuing education can, when you take a class, it can be anywhere from $200 to $4,000 to do your continuing education hours requirement. Here in Washington, I have to have 36 hours every 2 years, and then as a certified clinical trauma professional, I have to have, I think, 12 to 16 every year to 2 years. So that's a lot of money that you're spending to keep yourself educated. And it just so happened that one of the sites that I go to is called PESI. PESI is an internationally known site for therapists and licensed professionals, psychologists, psychiatrists, and nurses, where we get our continuing education. It just so happened they had a free webinar. And this is the first time that someone came on the webinar to introduce the language of narcissist abuse. She broke it down clinically, and she was talking to us as professionals that we need to know this information. So when people,
I think that's vital.
And the survivors that are coming to us, we need to understand this language and what is happening and the abuse that occurs with these cluster B or narcissists. And this is the first time I finally heard it on a professional platform. And what they're doing now is they're getting ready to begin the training so that other professionals can get the certification, so that when you are looking for therapists, you now can find therapists that are certified in narcissist abuse recovery.
That's amazing.
Finally. And
that's amazing.
And she started an association where a lot of she just started it, so it's not really active, where a lot of us are registering. So we're a part of the association that provides the education of what we're talking about, because many of these people are going out to look for counselors, but they don't understand what narcissist abuse is. We have basic we go to school, we have basic information, which is when you say narcissistic personality disorder, we're taught from the standpoint of treating the disorders. We're not taught from the standpoint of treating the people that went through this type of abuse and what type of abuse these people, that what they do. Normally, that's a specialization. That's something that you get on your own, and that's what you specialize in because you went above and beyond to get some training. And so even for me, when I went, when I got my license, I went further, and I tell people I went and go got a certification with the YMCA. It was a 30-hour or 40-hour training on providing services for victims of domestic violence. I turned to the Pierce, and see, all this is not in one area. I went to the Pierce County Sexual Assault Center and got certified and provided treating people with, people that have been sexually violated, molested, whatever. And so really pieces and parts of information, but no one ever taught me. I was treating people. I just didn't understand the language, and I didn't understand the abuse that was occurring by these people. When I listening to YouTube and people were talking about it, I said, I've been talking about this for years. I didn't know there was another language. So it was almost like that Rosetta Stone.
Yes.
So it's like the Rosetta Stone that you introduced me to the language. I'm like, I got an understanding.
And it brings so much clarity for you, I'm sure.
Yes. And so then I finally begin to introduce this language to my clientele that they never heard: flying monkeys, love bombing, hoovering. They're taught in school. Hoovering, what is it? Hoovering and discarding and I didn't know this kind of language. And when I start putting it together, that's why I said, when you start breaking down and decoding the language and the behavior, you begin to understand how to protect yourself.
Yes. Like, I'm sure a lot of the women on your platform, have never heard of red pill men, blue pill men, purple pill men, MGTOW men, alpha males. They have never heard of that. You never heard of the
Alpha male, now
FBI and the
that one, that
CIA
alpha male,
organizations?
the alpha male, I heard that. That is
Yeah.
very popular and is trending on YouTube. So alpha,
Hmm.
I heard that, and high value men, I heard that. But all the
Yes.
ones I have no idea. So ladies, gentlemen, whoever is on here, listen, go register for the conference because we're going to give you new language. We're going to give you some understanding, and he's going to break this down for you guys because it's about time to educate therapists. Absolutely. And I'm doing my part. And I'm hoping that one day I'm able to certify this program so that we can go across the nation and teach this. As a matter of fact, I have some social workers that I got in contact with in the Dallas area, and I'm trying to get a group of the social workers out so they think about it. These are social workers that work in CPS and Child Protective Service.
Mm,
These are social
mm.
workers having to either take the children out of the home, but they don't understand what's happening to the parent. So I'm hoping that they won't be so quick to take the children out of the home and understanding what type of abuse they're going through, because this type of abuse is not normal abuse. And so we have
No.
social workers. I'm trying to get the social workers out to the conference at Dallas because they're in Dallas. But think about it. We're now introducing a new language to them. We're now
Yes.
introducing something that they need
Yes.
to know within the Department of Social Health Services.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. And I even saw someone say something like law enforcement should be educated on this too. I
I
agree. I
I
agree.
agree.
The
I agree.
problem you're going to have there is some law enforcement is part of the boys club.
And some of them are narcissists too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Judges, lawyers. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely right. And
So
and you'll learn. I'm going to give you a deeper understanding on that when I talk about their social networking.
you guys got to be there, y'all. You guys got to be there. Now you guys are going to start to get some understanding as to why you guys go through what you go through in the court system. And that's
Yep.
why Bridget is going to be there to talk to you guys about the court system and what the judges are looking for. What to say,
Hmm.
what to say, how to look for a lawyer, the language you need to use. You can't walk into the courtroom and try to get someone, to prove that the person you were with were narcissist. Can't do that. Wrong language.
Hmm. Hmm.
Going into a
Hmm.
fact-based arena, you have to bring in facts. You have to bring in behavior, and she's going to talk about that. She's going to talk about parental alienation, a lot of that information. But I'm gonna try to bring her on the platform tomorrow, so you guys stay. What's the word I'm looking for? Just stay watching the channel for information, because I'm gonna put the information out there for you guys to see. So I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and let him go back to his family. You give my sister a kiss and a
I
hug.
will. I
I
will.
love
Thank
her.
you for having me, sis.
I am so honored, and hopefully you will be with me because next year I'm going to Atlanta. So I want
I'm
you guys
there.
to
I'm
Atlanta.
there.
We're gonna
I'm
go to
there.
Atlanta.
I
So
love it.
next year we're gonna be in Atlanta, and we're gonna make sure Marcus and his wife comes to Atlanta so you guys meet him in person, so you can talk to him. You see that he's a real person, and you will see a lot of you guys will get touchy feely. Some of you guys are empaths, so you'll be able to pick up on, okay, what's going on with the vibe here. You guys will be able to see. You'll see
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. He's a man of character. He's an excellent man. I really love him and
Well,
his.
thank you so much.
I am
I'm
so
I'm
honored. Thank you.
I got to
Thank
tell
you.
you, I'm very honored to be here with you. You
Thank you.
you made a great impact on me and my wife, and I love what you're doing, Dr. Carmen. Brian, I got to tell you, to see this, to see your followers who you are friends with, and you are imparting so much love and wisdom and healing, and it's touching my heart right now to see that, and I'm so grateful for you.
Debo, you're not gonna cry, are you?
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. But you're a very special person.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, you guys, stay there because when I turn off, you'll still be on the camera. So don't go anywhere. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Make sure you go to my mother's channel. It is Helen Sadler, Your Destiny Helper. She brings you the information from a spiritual and a biblical perspective concerning narcissist abuse and your healing. And then, Marcus, can you tell them where they can find you? Do you have a platform?
Yes, you can follow me on my social media. You can follow me at the real M Monroe on Instagram. And right now, I'm still working on releasing my school called World Reaches Academy. So I'm not fully done with it yet, but when it's done, they'll be able to follow me on worldreachesacademy.com.
Yay, congratulations. And then listen, those of you that want coaching, you are available. I am available for coaching. Remember, my slots fill up very fast. So if you want coaching, you can contact me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. I will provide you with my rates. Also, stay tuned because I'm also going to be doing a few classes before we get to the conference. And for those of you that need counseling, I cannot provide counseling for those of you that are outside the state of Washington. I'm only licensed in the state of Washington. However, if you're looking for counseling, you can go to betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. I partner with the site. I do receive a fee for referrals. However, I've heard some very great things. I support them. You go on there, you can read about narcissism. You can ask the counselors, do you understand? And give them the details. Do you understand PTSD? Do you understand the aftermath of domestic violence? Physical abuse or parental alienation? Speak about the symptoms, and a lot of them can help you. But I've heard a lot of good things. Miss Arlene, she said a lot of good things about betterhelp.com. So go to betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. They will give you a 10% discount. If you cannot, if you're having some financial issues, you let them know. They will assist you with a grant. However, the grant does not mean it's free. They just provide you with a affordable rate for you to get counseling. So I thank you guys all. Make sure when the video posts, I'll put all the information under the video. Go to my link and register for the conference. Y'all don't want to miss out on this. I'm telling you, it only happens once a year, and you're not going to get next year. He might give out the same information. It might be something, and I know him. I know him enough because I know what he's talking about. He added on to what we learned from the last time we talked. So you get this information one time, and then next year when he comes, you have this information. He done built onto something else to the information. So whenever you get a chance, make sure you register for the conference. And for some of you guys that can be there, come so I can shake your hand, I can hug you, I can love on you a little bit, and I can see who's behind these pictures. Because pictures, some of you guys got these cute pictures. I know you guys look like little No, I'm just joking. I know you guys look beautiful, and I want to meet you guys in person. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much to my moderators. I appreciate you guys. I love you.
Amazing job.
And be great. Okay, let me end it.